Don't just transfer the garbage from your old system into your new system, because then your new system is going to be garbage too. I know it sucks, but take the time, go back, go through every single lead one by one and restage them and re-tag them so you have the right things in place to target people appropriately. Welcome to the Whissel Way Podcast. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty Group and eXp Realty here in San Diego.
I am Bryan Kochi, Marketing Director with Whissel Realty Group here in San Diego.
The goal of our show is to give you the tools, techniques, and tactics that you need to go out there and crush it in your business, whether that be real estate, mortgage, or really just any business out there. And we want to do that in 30 minutes or less. We want this to be the podcast that you can listen to on your way to or from work and be able to consume the whole thing. Because if you're anything like me, these 1 hour, 2 hour, or Joe Rogan 4 hour podcasts, just can't consume all that. I want something that I can consume front to back in a single sitting. And that's our goal, is to knock this out in the next 30 minutes. If you've listened to the show before, you enjoy the show, we'd love for you to give us a nice little rating. If you're listening on iTunes, give us 5 stars on there. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. We'd love for you to help us grow this channel. And one of the ways that we like to run this is that we like to allow you to ask us the questions that we answer on the show. Rather than guessing what you want to hear about, we just listen to you and what you want to hear about. So if you have questions you want to have answered on a future episode of the show, just go to thewhisselway.com and you can ask questions on there. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel, our podcast. You can join our Facebook group on there, which is where we share a lot of the stuff we're working on in our office. Join our referral network, find out about our upcoming events like our Media Mayor Mastermind, which is a 16-hour course dedicated to everything Bryan and I have learned in the last 5+ years of creating killer videos together. So with that said, let's dive in, Bryan. What is our question for today?
So we see, if you've ever been on a real estate Facebook group page, ever had real estate friends, been to a conference, one question that gets asked every single time is, what CRM should I use? And the people always say, whatever one works, right? Whatever CRM you work, it works, right? And so I don't want to answer that question. I don't even want to ask that question. What I want to do is build kind of a plan for success, whether people are choosing a CRM for the first time and just getting into it, or switching from one CRM to the other. What are kind of the building blocks to make sure that you are able to work this appropriately?
For sure. And I'll answer that first part of the question, just get it out of the way. It's the CRM that you already have that you're not using. Anything is better than nothing, right? I'd rather you have a cheap, shitty CRM that costs you nothing.
Go ahead and name a few.
Broker gives you whatever. Anything is better than nothing. So you're never going to find the perfect CRM. There's always going to be things that you love about one and hate about another, and vice versa. So just pick something and run with it. The more you put into it, the more that you're going to get out of it. Is the end of that's what it's all about, really. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. So what I want to talk about is, like, what do you put into it, right? Like, whether you're just getting your first CRM, like we had somebody commenting on the show on the YouTube channel, and they were talking about they're still using Excel spreadsheets. Okay,
which is cool. Fine when
which
you
is
have
still
40
better
people.
It's still better than nothing. At least there's a system.
Yeah, no, I use that for our Media Mayor Mastermind, our group of like, hey, let me know when you have the next one. It was fine for like 20, 30 people. Once it got to like 60 people, I was dying. So if you have less than 20 people, it'll work.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you, one, if you're in that scenario where you're coming off of paper or Excel or something like that.
Or your phone book. Phone book,
yeah. Or let's talk to those of you that are coming off of another CRM. Maybe you're making a change for whatever reason. You just decided your current CRM isn't accomplishing what your goals are, and you want to move to something else. What I would encourage you to do is never make a move to something else just because you heard somebody else uses it. I see people make this mistake all the time. It's like somebody's up on stage, or right, like we're here on a podcast, YouTube channel, like, oh, well, Kyle's using that, I should use it. Like, that just because we use it doesn't mean it's right for you. You got to figure out what's right for you, because some of the things that we're doing with our CRM are going to be, something that you as an individual is, you don't need half the shit that we're doing. And what we're doing is so complex and so unique that maybe that's not the right fit for you. Maybe one of the simple all-in-one solutions is a better fit for you. So
let's go into that real quick. So obviously like you said, we were going really complex with automations, with an ISA team, all that sort of stuff. There's kind of two ways you can look through this, right? Doing an all-in-one solution, or going and kind of piecing things together. Yeah. And so both of those systems work really well. So I wanted to make sure to bring that up. There's kind of two ways to look at it. So what are some of the, if you were to piece it together, you need a front end and a back end, right?
Right. So an all-in-one solution, some of the best all-in-ones out there, there's a Boomtown, Sierra Interactive. I mean, those are a couple of the best all-in-one solutions out there. FirePoint's another good one. KV Core is another good one. So there's a lot of all-in-one solutions. When we say all-in-one, that means that the CRM does everything in a single package. That's the website on the front end. That's the IDX search. That's the CRM on the back end. That's what's helping you send out your emails and your text messages and reminding you who to follow up with. That's all in a single system. So there's a lot of all-in-one solutions, or you can go with something that's more of a custom solution. What we're utilizing now on our team is Follow Up Boss. Follow Up Boss is the CRM. We're then plugging in the Ylopo front-end experience. So Ylopo is the website and the IDX search, also the retargeting. That plugs into Follow Up Boss. We're using Call Action for all of our texting and our drip campaigns. That plugs into Follow Up Boss. So Follow Up Boss is kind of like the hub, and then we plug all the spokes into it. Now, people are like, well, why do you want to have to deal with all that? Well, the benefit of that is that we have this hub that's, arguably the best pure CRM in the industry. And now we can plug in all of the best things. So rather than waiting for an all-in-one solution to, improve their texting or to improve their automations or add customizations where you're at the mercy of that all-in-one provider, with Follow Up Boss, if we're utilizing one system for texting and that company goes out of business or isn't evolving fast enough and there's better technologies, we can just unplug that one piece and plug a new piece into it. So think about if you want to buy a car that's stock can be an amazing performing car, those all-in-one solutions are great for you. But if you're somebody who wants to customize your car and you want to be able to choose what exhaust goes on it and what tires and what rims and, is it supercharged, all that, then maybe something like a Follow Up Boss is better for you.
And one of the benefits, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think one of the benefits of an all-in-one is it's probably easier to get that split cost-wise with your referral partners or your vendors, your lender, that sort of stuff.
Could be, yeah.
Because you have one bill versus 19 bills.
Yeah.
And of course, with multiple ones, you have different APIs and nerdy shit that can go wrong. But yeah.
That's cool. We went on a good tangent there, but hopefully that helps you out.
Yes, that's the difference between the two. Now, what do you need to do to get started?
Yeah, so here's the beauty. Regardless of which option you go with, whether you go with an all-in-one or you go with a customizable solution, the key is, how do I start?
Yep.
Right. That's what we really want to focus on today. So we're in the process of doing this right now, of making a change. And the thing is, we could take all the data from our prior system and just push it into the new system and be off to the races. We're opting to not do that with everything. We're doing that, our searches are transferring over, our previous notes, our to-dos, all that stuff.
All of our leads are transferring over.
All the leads transfer, and virtually everything transfers over to the new system. The good thing is now most of the systems, they understand people move around from one platform to another over time, and so they figured out how do we get data out of that system and put it into our system and vice versa. But what we're choosing to do is to utilize this as an opportunity to really dial our system in. Because what we found is over the years, that you just get lazy and you stop categorizing things properly. You stop tagging things properly, and your CRM just ends up being this just massive mess. One of the things that we've related it to is it's like this house. It started as a 500 square foot house, and it's had one addition on top of an addition on top of an addition on top of an addition. Now it's 5,000 square feet, but it's just a mess. It's sloppy. It doesn't flow.
You got to walk through 3 bedrooms to get to a bathroom.
Yeah. And so what ends up happening eventually, you got to just tear the house down and rebuild
Yep.
it. And so we're utilizing this as an opportunity to rebuild. And so instead of just taking all these hodgepodge rooms all over the place, let's just tear it all down and let's start all over again. And so now all of our agents, our team is all working on going in and recategorizing every single lead and making sure we have them marked right. Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Are they both?
So let's go through some of those things.
There's really 3 key things that we're doing. So in every CRM is a little bit different. Most of them will call it like a category, or Follow Up Boss calls it a stage. So where is this person in the process? What we decided to do in Follow Up Boss is, as opposed to doing the like ABC lead or hot, warm, cold lead or whatever, we decided we want those stages to be more of the progression of where somebody's at in the process. If you guys are working with Zillow and their leads and their CRM on the back end, or if you're one of their flex partners, it goes, like the lead comes in and then you mark it appointment set and you mark it appointment met, right? Or if you're working with OpCity or HomeLight or any of these other platforms out there, that's how they all work, is off deal progression. And that just makes a lot of sense.
It really does.
I think a lot of the CRMs started initially where it was like hot, warm, cold, whatever, but things have changed.
And when you're trying to appeal to the masses of people that haven't ever been in real estate versus have been in it forever, you got to kind of simplify it sometimes. And that's the beauty of Follow Up Boss, is we can be very customizable with it. So if we wanted to do hot, warm, cold, because we have agents that can only handle it that way, we could have gone that way, but we went to go this direction because we can be more customizable with it.
Yeah, so we have stages, the stages that we have. And if you want a copy of this, you can just shoot me a DM on Instagram. It's at Kyle Whissel. So if you guys want a copy of this, I'll share these charts that we're working off with you. But we're running in stages. So first is lead. That's somebody who's in the system that we have not spoken to yet. We have no idea what they are. They're just a lead in the system. We don't know anything else about them. Then the next step is qualified. That means it's somebody we've spoken to. We've been able to qualify them to determine what kind of a time period are we working with. Then we have appointment set. Logical, appointment met, logical, signed. Signed would be they've either signed like a buyer broker type agreement, or we call it a VIP agreement in our office, or they've signed a listing agreement. Okay, that's signed. Then we have under contract, which means they're under contract or pending, depending on what you call it in your market. Yeah, in escrow. Then we have closed. Then we have unresponsive. So that's somebody that's a lead that came in that we followed up with for at least a week, haven't been able to connect with because they've been unresponsive. They go in that unresponsive category. We have trash, which is going to be the solicitors, bad phone number, bad email, all that stuff goes in the trash. And then there's 3 other stages that we have, which is kind of unique to a system like Follow Up Boss with being customizable, is we have our past clients, our vendors, and our sphere. Right now, a vendor, that would be somebody like an attorney, right? Let's call like a bankruptcy attorney that I have a relationship and I want them in my CRM and I want to stay in contact with them, but I don't want to have to categorize my bankruptcy attorney as a buyer or a seller like I do in a lot of other systems. I'm able to have him in just my vendor category. I don't have to give him a buyer or seller tag. I can put vendors like that, or new home builders, or senior, community leasing agents. All that stuff can go into that vendor category. Past client, that's logical. And sphere, logical, right? Like your sphere, you want to stay in touch with your sphere, but you don't want to necessarily force them to be a buyer or a seller. So now we have these extra stages that people don't have to be tagged buyer or seller. So we put them in any one of those stages, and then we tag them accordingly.
So the first of the 3 was a stage. The second is tags.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know what the third one is, but hopefully you'll know what that is, because I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you said 3.
There's 2 different tags.
No, not 3. Not tags. The 3. Anyways, continue. Keep going.
It's cool. The 3 categories that we're talking about is sphere, vendor, past client. Yeah, but then the next 2 things. So all of our agents are going into every lead that they have in their system that was transferred over, and now they've got to stage that person and put them in the appropriate stage. Then they've got to go in and they have to add 2 tags. They've got to add, the first tag that they have to add is the timeline. So we're working with Ylopo in conjunction with Follow Up Boss. So that's the front end that we're plugging into Follow Up Boss. So they have a variety of tags. They have right now within 90 days, within 6 months, 6 to 12, 12 plus, and then forever. Not ready, I think, is the other tag. So we're adding tags for where the person is at as far as their timing goes. And then the second thing we're adding is buyer or seller tags. And so that would be number 3.
Yeah, it was 2 different types of tags. That's where I got.
I know where you got confused. It's
I
cool.
know.
I got you, Bryan. That's why I rolled it back. And
yep. Thank you. I appreciate that. For my
so the
benefit.
third one is the tag of buyer or seller. So we want to make sure that we have people tagged accordingly, because we want to be able to segment out our content and talk to buyers specifically, talk to sellers specifically, or we could say, hey, Follow Boss, show me everybody who's tagged with buyer and seller, because we could talk to them differently because they're logically going to be making a move up or a move down. So the better job you do of segmenting all that stuff out, now I could say, hey, show me everybody who's a buyer/seller that is looking to do something within the next 6 months. And now I can run a targeted message at that group, or whatever. I want people that are just buying, but they're more than a year out. Maybe I want to send them some content talking about how rates are the lowest they've ever been. And maybe we can take that 1 year out time frame and shorten that a little bit to motivate them by seeing that the rates are so low. So the more you do, the better. But that's what it really boils down to, is we're making this transition. The first phase is we got to put them in the appropriate stage or category, as a lot of CRMs will call it. And then we've got to make sure that we have them categorized correctly with the tags, is their timeline, and then what type of client are they, a buyer or seller.
And to kind of simplify, because yes, we can do very targeted messages, but another thing we do is with one of our partners, Viral Marketing, who sends out our emails twice a month. Our first email is usually a market update. That's going to go to everyone in there that's a buyer and a seller. And then whenever we do videos, we've talked about batch videoing or filming several at a time. We always do a buyer tip and a seller tip. Now, so our first email goes out to buyer and seller. Our second email, we do a buyer tip for the buyers, a seller tip for the sellers. So now we can make sure they get more relevant information.
Yep.
And so as we can get more and more and more complex, but that's a really easy way to just split those two out by using literally partners we already use.
There you go.
Cool.
So hopefully that helps you out. I know we talked about a lot in there, but it boils down to, if you're setting up a new CRM or you're transitioning to a new CRM, use this as an opportunity to go in and clean things up. Don't just transfer the garbage from your old system into your new system, because then your new system is going to be garbage too. I know it sucks, but take the time, go back, go through every single lead one by one and restage them and re-tag them so you have the right the right things in place to target people appropriately. Like Bryan said, I mean, I want to send different messages to my right now buyer than I do my year plus out seller. I don't want to send the same message to those people.
Or to your past client or to your vendor.
So this will really help start you out with a good foundation in your CRM before you start sending anything out to anybody. So
now, we did a lot of research when we were going into this. Some of the things that were really important to us were open API, meaning the CRM is open to connecting with other.
They play nice with other systems. Yep.
There you go.
So some of the CRMs out there will allow you to push information into them, but they won't allow you to pull information out of them. One of the biggest reasons that we went with Follow Up Boss is they allow pushing and pulling.
Yeah.
So they will talk to each other, like Ylopo, for example, right? Something happens on the Ylopo site, it can push that information to Follow Up Boss. And if I do something in Follow Up Boss, Ylopo can pull that information out. So the ability to push and pull is a huge reason why we wanted Follow Up Boss.
And that way we can update one place and it updates everywhere we go.
Correct.
So obviously we're just to the point we're about to flip over. Been super happy with both Ylopo and Follow Up Boss making this transition, which is, if you have a CRM now and you're thinking about moving, I know you have that dread in your stomach.
Yeah, we have 66,000 leads we're transitioning. So if you feel bad, like, oh my God, I can't do it, I have X amount of leads, we have 66,000 we're
so
transferring.
it's a big task, and I won't downplay that, but they've made this super easy and been very able to work with us. So we've been really happy with them. I know that there's some I don't know, do they say if you want to go that route and they say your name, I think they get a hookup of some sort, right?
I don't know, but sure. If you guys are looking at Ylopo or Follow Up Boss, just mention that you heard about it on the show, and tell them Kyle said give you a discount. I don't know what they'll do. Somebody the other day told Ylopo and they got like $1,000 discount. So
I want to say, I was talking to the guys at Ylopo and he goes, we've never done this for anyone else. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So that could be good for you. So hopefully you guys got some value out of that. Stages, tags, get everybody dialed in. Are they buyer, are they seller, or both? What's their time frame, and where are they at in the process? So hopefully you guys got some value out of that. The other thing we want to do before we wrap up the show today is every week we like to share something that we're utilizing in our business that either saves us time, makes us more money, or just helps us have more fun. And we like to call that the Whissel Widget of the Week. What do you got for us, Bryan?
So my widget allows me to watch YouTube with no ads without paying for YouTube Plus or Platinum or Premium or whatever it is. So I was talking to my dad, Steve Kochi, big shout out. I know he'll watch this because he watches.
He's your number one fan.
He absolutely is, and I appreciate it. And he tells me every time we mess up, every typo we have, and I appreciate you, Dad. So I was telling him I was looking into getting the Plus or whatever the YouTube one is. I said, yeah, but it's expensive. He goes, I don't get ads. I said, how do you not get ads? He goes, I have a Chrome extension. So this only works, to my knowledge, if you use Chrome as your browser, but it's called AdBlock Plus. I just installed it on Chad's computer, one of my photographers, and literally with it going on, you don't have the pre-roll ads, you don't have in-stream ads, you don't have ads on YouTube. It's free. I love it. Saves me a bunch of time.
I like it.
Thanks.
All right. Mine
What's
is
yours?
also a big time saver. So this is a service. This is really cool. This is like one of my favorite new ones that we're utilizing. What this service will allow you to do, it integrates with Gmail. It's an extension within Google Chrome as well. And what it'll allow you to do is a lot of times you get an email from a brand new lead and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And now you got to like open up your CRM in another tab or another window, and you got to like copy and paste all this information out of Gmail and put it into the CRM to like add this lead in the CRM. Like that's a pain in the ass. So this system will allow you with a single click of a button to automatically create a lead with all the information from that email, and it'll even push that email through as a note into your CRM, which is really freaking cool. Or like right now, I just had a lead email me, and he used like an old email address for me, so it's not going to sync up with my CRM. But now with a click of a single button, I'm able to just push that email that he sent in as a note into my CRM. So instead of like having to, open the CRM up and then find the lead and then copy the email and then paste it into the CRM, don't have to do that. And you can also add tags within this system. You could set to-dos within the system, all without leaving Gmail or G Suite, whichever version you're using. So this, it's our friends at Real Sync, and Sync is SYNCH. Real Sync, they have a product called Command Bot that allows us to do this. So while I'm within my Gmail, I just hit a little button, it slides over on the side, because you can have like your calendar and stuff over there. Now there's a Command Bot over there, and it just slides over, and I can just say, yep, add this note or add this email as a note to this lead, and boom, it happens instantaneously. I don't even have to get out of Gmail, which is pretty freaking killer. So Command Bot by Real Sync is a killer program for saving you a ton of time and making your life a whole lot easier.
And making sure you don't forget about those leads.
Or you're just not like, sometimes people will have these email exchanges outside of like their primary email, but that exchange doesn't make it into the CRM. Now with the click of a button, shoots it over there. I know it works with Follow Up Boss, it works with Boomtown, and I know it works with FirePoint. I know that they're probably trying to integrate with everybody. I know as of September 14th, which is my dad's birthday, I probably got to call him. As of September 14th, it integrates with those three right now. So Command Bot by Real Sync is pretty cool system.
Sweet.
So if you guys enjoyed the show, again, hook us up with a little love on iTunes and on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the show and hit that bell to get notified when we release future episodes of it. And subscribe if you are listening on iTunes. And if you have questions you want to have us answer on a future episode of the show, you can always go to thewhisselway.com. You can ask your questions on there. You can subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube channel. You can join our Facebook group where we're sharing a lot of cool content in there. You can join our referral network. We have a lot of people leaving California. We'd love to refer them out your way. And find out about our upcoming events like our Media Mayor Mastermind event, which is a 16-hour course going super deep into nothing but video, sharing everything Bryan and I've learned over the last 5+ years of cranking out thousands of videos.
And we've got the interest list up now.
Yeah. So once Bryan has a baby, we will be able to have a course.
Yes.
We'll teach you how to like shoot videos of your baby.
I think I'm gonna do something like that.
Yeah.
I need to get my mind in a different headspace. I'm afraid I'm gonna pass out.
I want a video not of your wife giving birth. I just want a video of you and your reactions while she gives birth.
I'll have my little face cam face.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you got some value out of the show today. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Whissel Way Podcast.
See you guys next week.
Wait. Before you leave, I want to share some more tips and tricks that we're using in our business to take it to that next level. Just click right here. And don't forget to subscribe. Click right here.